Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming along to the virtual exam information evening. We will shortly be sharing the screen so you can see the PowerPoint. We are recording this evening, so if anybody misses it or you want to catch up on things, this will be available on the YouTube channel, hopefully from around about lunchtime tomorrow. I'm just going to ask Mr. Bateman if you could share the screen for us so you can see the PowerPoint coming up. Thank you. So, this evening we are in the final countdown for the year 11. So the format of this evening is going to be a short introduction from myself with exam information coming forward, the sort of practicalities of the exams with Mr. Leary, and then any questions that you may have, can you please address those in the chat box, and either myself or Mr. Leary will try and answer those. If it's a specific one that we can't answer, then we will try and get back to you within 24 hours. So thank you for your patience with this. So just a note on the summer 22 exams, just to make it quite clear that these will be taking place. We have had as yet no indication otherwise. So there will be exams taking place this summer, starting from the middle of May. I'd like to emphasise that the attendance is mandatory. If you are ill, and it is not COVID, please try and come in. We can put in for special consideration. If you're absent from the exam, you will score 0 for that particular paper. And the final, slightly worrying statistic is that we have got 21 school days until the start of the exams. So, where can you get the information for parents? So we have put a significant amount of information on the school website. Thank you to those who contributed to the questionnaire with regard to this. So in response, we have put up information, and you can see it there. So you go to the parents section, and then you click on the exam section, and you go to the summer 22, and that will give you quite a lot of information. On that page, you will see all the JCQs, so that's the Joint Council for Qualifications. That is the organisation that runs the exams. So it's got all their rules and regulations, their exam warning posters, what's happening in the summer 22 exams. Scroll down that page and you will see in document format the information on the changes to the exams for this summer for every subject that is studied at Banavalan. So hopefully you'll have all that information there. We will also put up more information near the time as and when it comes in. We may also put up some links to areas that help with exam stress and so on. We might also put information up on Twitter. So that will be links to revision guides or whatever that may well come up there. Again, if we see anything that deals with exam stress, then we will put that up on there as well. Just want to say that there will be no study leave. We've not had study leave for 4 years, and we will continue with this policy as we believe it will provide the best environment for the students to succeed. And we're going to talk a little bit more detail with Mr. Leary about how that will work during the exams themselves. So the students will be in school until at least the 3rd week of June doing their revision and so on. So I'll hand over now to Mr. Leary, who is going to talk through some of the practicalities of the exams. Mr. Leary.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Okay, now first of all, I'd just like to share with you our timetable. For those of you who may have got older brethren who've left the school, you'll know that unlike the last couple of years, we always run some revision sessions during the holidays, and this one is no exception. So I'd just like to share some of the stuff that's available from next week. Now the students will also get copies of this as well, and we'll send this out via ePraise, and we'll also share it with the students tomorrow morning in an assembly. So, the majority of it is actually taking place in the first week. If you look at the top there, all sessions will start by 10 o'clock, and then there'll be a short pause for lunch, so a 2-hour session in the morning, and then a 2-hour session in the afternoon. I'd like to draw your attention particularly to our non-examined subjects, non-examined assessments there, art, photography and D&T. This is a really good opportunity for when the students are able to come in and get on with their portfolio work. So we've got those subjects that are in there, and the initials next to the subjects are the ones of the staff that are actually taking the lead on that, although there will be other staff. For example, the maths, the majority of the maths team will be in there. It's just Mr. White on Thursday will take the lead in that, as he is the head of faculty. And as you can see, on the 12th of April for that week, there's a double whammy there, business studies with Mr. Towers and also with Mr. Young, very specifically there, the geography paper 1. Now, because we've got issues with the pandemic, I've just highlighted there, please check your ePraise, the students to check their ePraise. If we have any problems, the members of staff will email the students and tell them that the session is cancelled. So at the start of every day, before you set off, please check that. Now, during the exams, as Mr. Edgar said, we don't have study leave, and one of the reasons we've been able to get some really good results in the years preceding the pandemic was to be able to get all the students focused and to keep them in school. Now, when they're in school, they're not just sat around. We actually put together for them a support program. Now, I'm going to illustrate what this looks like. It is not the one that the students will have. We have to spend a little bit more time about setting it up this year because the exams are so far spaced out. But what you will receive is something looking like this. So you can see they'll have a morning workshop when they've got an exam. At that particular time, we normally put on a little bit of light breakfast for the students as well. And then they would go into their exam. Where there's a blank on there, that would be a normal lesson, because many of the students will still be sitting, will still be covering content and revision sessions within those periods. Anything that's highlighted at the end of that one, if I go to the top there, you can see there's a maths workshop period 5, and that would be when the maths team would come off timetable for whatever they're teaching to work with the year 11s, because the following day they have a maths exam. So this is the type of thing that your son or daughter will receive, and depending on what subjects they're taking will depend on what sessions they will do. That's just zoomed in a little closer there so you can see what's actually happening there. We also highlight the exam timetable starts there just so people know where they are, and also just to let people know that Year 11 will be back in at the hall and which members of staff will be looking after them. Now, in terms of the examinations, if you have a problem with attending for an exam, say there's a problem with a bus or you can't get in or this, that and the other, you must let us know as soon as possible. It's very difficult to halt an exam. We're not allowed to do it. All exams take place at the same time and the same date all over the country. So when the students in this school are sitting English, all the way across the country, they are sitting English. We do understand sometimes there may be difficulties, and we can speak to the invigilators and try and help that. However, please let us know as soon as possible. Now, we do have a contingency arrangement. If for any reason any exam has to be cancelled for anything else, then Wednesday the 29th of June is the last day that exams will take place. We do ask that all students are available up to this day and including this day in case they need to sit an exam that has been rearranged. The students know this, but just a reminder along these lines here, the invigilators are the people that are in charge in the exam room. The only members of staff that are allowed in the exam room are myself and Mr. Edgar, and any other members of staff that have been designated there. Subject teachers, heads of department are not allowed to go in. Usual things there, no mobile phones, no watches, etc., etc. And we don't want to get into a situation where we have to fill in a report and go to the exam boards. So just a reminder of the behaviour for the students there at these externally assessed exams. There is a small shop on ePraise, and also you can pay on Parent Pay if you've still not got your exam stuff, but hopefully most people are in that situation where they've got their scientific calculator that they're used to, and they've also got their drawing equipment that they need, whether that be for maths, science, or any of the design and technology exams. This has just recently come out, just to us, just recently there. So all of this has to be followed for the conduct of the examinations, and we have to follow this precisely. So we will keep harping on at the start of every single exam, and we will keep reminding the students about the need to not bring in their mobile phones, the smartwatches, or any other device that can store and retrieve information. The students are normally pretty good. Can you please just encourage them on the morning of their exams, just to make sure that if they need the phones, they switch them off before the exam, and they keep them with them somewhere safe, but not to take them in the exam hall, and definitely not into, not to have them on the person. Once again, this idea about being disqualified, it's externally assessed and it's also externally invigilated. So you have to follow what the invigilators say. Any disruptive, any unacceptable behaviour, and that includes just turning around and making a smile or anything along those lines, you will be removed from the examination room, and then an investigation will go on, and this may result in your disqualification from the whole of the exam series, not just that particular exam that you are doing. It's important that the students keep fully focused from the dates of the first exam right the way through until that end point, 29th of June. Now, on Thursday in the afternoon, there will be a pack for our Year 11 students, and within there I'll have a copy of these JCQ regulations. It will also have a copy of their timetable, that will tell them when they've got their exam, and it will also tell them where they're sat, and it will tell them whether they're at foundation or they're at higher, and also it will have their exam entries. Now, some of these may change, but it's highly unlikely there's going to be a massive change for everybody. It's usually that somebody's decided that they're going to enter them for higher tier in something like maths or science. And another point there, these are also available for you to see on Insight. So unlike when we set the mocks, we usually get the students with COVID regulations to be sitting in the same seats. When it comes to the exams, the seats are usually separate and different for all other exams because we have a different number of people in there. So it's important that the students can look along there and they can see if they're in row H, seat 8 for business studies, they may be in row L and seat 4 for history. I'd just like to draw your attention as well. When the students have finished their exams, we will have a celebration event at the school. And that celebration event is usually done in the form of an assembly, and a barbecue, and a little bit of some awards and a bit of shirt signing, those type of things there. And then afterwards, we will have a school prom. Now, the date for the prom is the 29th. That's Wednesday, the 29th of June. It's at Kenwick Park, and more details will be available shortly. We'll definitely speak to the students about that tomorrow. and hopefully many of the students will take up the opportunity, and after what's been a very difficult couple of years for them, we'll be able to send them off in a bit of style, and also hopefully with a good set of exam results as they finish their career from Bannerman. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Leary. Right, I would just like to reassure parents and students as well that as we move towards the run-up to the exams, it is perfectly acceptable to be nervous. This is a natural reaction to the exams. Please don't let it become a bigger issue or a bigger problem than it has to be. If you are feeling really nervous, speak to a senior member of staff or your subject teacher or student support. They will be more than happy to help and support. And like I said, it is absolutely the right thing to be nervous for the exams. And we appreciate that this has been a difficult two and a half years for students. So they want to take strength from the resilience that they have shown over these last 2 years, and they will get through this. Their subject teachers are working with them and are keen for the students to succeed. So please keep working hard, embrace the nerves a little bit, and believe in yourself, and I think we can move forward and do extremely well. Now, just one thing that I don't really want to say, but I feel that I have to, and this is an appeal to all students. In the final weeks prior to the exams, please do not jeopardise other people's chances of success. If that happens, at the very least, it'll be the loss of the prom privilege. And if it doesn't improve, then it will be exam access only. In other words, the students will only come in for the exams, no access to the workshops, leave when the exam finishes, or they'll have to sit in isolation, and they won't play any part in the celebration event or the prom. Now, I'm very, very pleased to say that we've only had to do that to 2 students in the time that I've been here, so I'm not expecting that to happen again. But if I hear that students' behaviour is impacting on the learning of others, then I'll have no hesitation in moving towards exam access only. But as I said, not something that I particularly feel will happen, nor is it something that I want to happen. Again, just want to emphasise this: no mobile phones, no watches, no MP3 or MP4 players in their possession. They should always do a check before they go into the exam. If myself and Mr. Leary are in there, we will always tell them to check the pockets, purely and simply because even if you're not using it, even if you make a mistake and it's in your inside pocket, for example, and you notice that it's there, you own up to it, or your phone goes off, then you will not get a grade in that paper. Unfortunately, I've known students that has happened to. So please, please, please do not bring any of the banned items into the exam room, because it would be such a shame after everything that people have gone through in the last couple of years, whether to lose out on exam grades because of the having a mobile phone with them. Right, that is the end of our presentation. I'll just check with Mr. Bateman if we have any questions. No questions. Okay. Right, please don't worry. If you think of a question that you want to put to either myself or Mr. Leary, then please email the school at admin@Bannerbalham and if that comes through, and if you mark it for our attention, we will look at that and try and answer the question that you have. A huge thank you for attending this evening. As we said, the information packs will be going out with the students on Thursday. and there'll be further information available after Easter that will also be available on Insight. And I think Mrs. Pearson is trying to work out a way of putting it on ePraise as well. So all the information will be there. There will be information on the school website as well. And please check the Twitter feed, and we will put out any other pieces of information as and when they come through. Thank you for your time. And
You do have one question.
oh, we have one question.
What if your child isn't in school on Thursday to get the pack?
If your child is not in school on Thursday, we will post the pack out. So please don't worry about that. Okay. Right. Thank you again for your attention. Thank you again, as always, for your support, particularly in these last few weeks when it's been very, very difficult. But we really do appreciate everything that you've done to support the school. So thank you and have a good evening.
Bye-bye.